Well, it was a combination of the passion for music had left me. I could not, find the honest passion for singing.
Steve Perry shared why he left the band Journey when he was super famous. Tune in to find out how, even though he was really popular and loved, personal problems made him quit in 1987. The amazing singer, known for his unique voice, had everything a rock star could want. But these hidden struggles made him step back from being famous, leaving fans wondering for many years. Let us explore what made Perry give up his spot at the top. Before we start, get ready. What we're about to find out is more surprising than you think. A strange pendant and a dream. Steve Perry's story begins in Hanford, California, where he was born to parents of Portuguese descent from the Azores. As an only child, he was deeply influenced by his father, Raymond Perry, originally Pereira, who was a singer and co-owner of a radio station. This exposure to music at a young age sparked Perry's own love for singing. When Perry was 8 years old, his parents separated and he moved with his mother to his grandparents' dairy farm. A special moment came on his 12th birthday when his mother gave him a gold pendant shaped like a musical note, something he still treasures today. Around that same time, he heard Sam Cooke's song Cupid on the radio, and it became the inspiration for his dream of becoming a singer. Steve Perry's story was about to get really interesting, and we'll soon find out the secrets of how he became a star. In his 20s, Perry moved to Sacramento with hopes of starting his own band. He teamed up with 16-year-old Scott Matthews, who would later become a well-known music producer. Together, they formed a band called Ice, with Matthews playing multiple roles, including drums, guitar, and vocals, as well as helping with songwriting. In 1972, they recorded music in Los Angeles at the famous Record Plant Studios, where Stevie Wonder was also working on his Talking Book album. But despite the excitement of being in such a legendary place, the band fell apart due to lack of management and Matthews needing to focus on school. By 1975, Perry found himself in Thousand Oaks, California, forming a new band called Pieces, which included some talented musicians like Tim Bogert. But like Ice, Pieces didn't last long due to their inability to land a record deal, and they disbanded after about a year and a half. Perry then tried to join another band, Captain Beyond, but when that didn't work out, he returned to his hometown of Banta, California. There, he became the lead singer for a band called Alien Project. Tragedy struck when their bassist, Richard Michaels, died in a car accident. This loss hit Perry hard, and he seriously thought about giving up music altogether. But thanks to his mother's encouragement, he decided to keep going, and soon after, he received an offer that would change everything. Walter Herbie Herbert, the manager of Journey, had been struggling to find the right lead singer for the band. After hearing a demo of Perry's work with Alien Project, he became convinced that Perry was the right fit. Journey's current lead singer at the time, Robert Fleischman, wasn't meshing well with the band's management or evolving sound. Perry was introduced in secret as a roadie's Portuguese cousin and given the chance to perform during a sound check. The band was impressed, and shortly after, Perry officially became Journey's new lead singer. But this wasn't the biggest challenge Perry would face. When Perry joined Journey, the band was known for its progressive rock style, and Perry's more pop-friendly voice led to a noticeable shift in their music. This change wasn't easy for everyone in the band or even some fans. While some welcomed the new direction, others were hesitant. Perry's debut with the band in San Francisco on October 28, 1977 marked the beginning of a new chapter. But the mixed reactions from the audience showed that not everyone was on board with this transformation. This was just the start of a series of ups and downs for Perry and the band, eventually leading to the struggles that would later cause Perry to leave. When he released his first album with them, Infinity, he quickly began making a name for himself. This album featured the song Lights, which Perry had written himself. The song became a big hit and helped Journey gain even more attention on the radio and in the media. Infinity solidified Perry's role in the band, and over his time with Journey, his voice became the signature sound for 9 albums. These started with Infinity in 1978 and included albums like Evolution, Departure, and Escape, which hit #1 on the Billboard charts in 1981. The album Escape had a major hit with the song Open Arms, which became a huge success, reaching #2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and staying there for 6 weeks. Perry's impact on Journey was undeniable, but he didn't stop there. He lent his talents to other projects as well. For example, in 1980, he sang backup vocals on tracks like The Iceman and Run for Your Life for Sammy Hagar. Then in 1982, he teamed up with Kenny Loggins on the song Don't Fight It, which climbed to #17 on the charts. After the release of Journey's album Frontiers and its tour, Perry decided to try something different and embarked on a solo career. In 1984, he released his first solo album, Street Talk, which was inspired by his earlier band, Alien Project. This album was a big commercial success, selling more than 2 million copies. It featured hit singles like Oh Sherry, which Perry wrote for his then-girlfriend Sherry Swafford, and Foolish Heart. But that wasn't the most challenging part of Perry's journey. During this time, Perry was everywhere. The music video for Oh Sherry became a favorite on MTV, and other singles like She's Mine and Strung Out also gained attention. Street Talk brought together talented musicians including Craig Crampf on drums, guitarist Michael Landau, and Randy Jackson on bass, who would later become a judge on American Idol. In 1985, Perry joined a group of famous singers for the charity song We Are the World, and he also recorded the song If Only for the Moment Girl for the We Are the World album. In 1987, he collaborated with the Irish band Clannad on their album Sirius. At the same time, he was trying to reunite with Journey to work on their album Raised on Radio. However, this period wasn't without its difficulties. Perry's mother became seriously ill, which greatly affected the recording sessions for Raised on Radio, an album Perry was also producing. The strain of his mother's illness and her eventual passing took an emotional toll on Perry. It caused delays in the album's production, which led to growing tensions within the band. This tension eventually resulted in Journey taking a break after the Raised on Radio tour in 1987. But that wasn't the end of Perry's struggles. In 1988, Perry started working on a new solo album called Against the Wall, but for reasons he never fully explained, the album was never finished. Some of the tracks from this project were later included in his 1998 compilation Greatest Hits Plus 5 Unreleased. In April 1989, Perry made a rare appearance, performing alongside Bon Jovi at the Shoreline Amphitheater in California, where they covered classics like Sam Cooke's Bring It On Home to Me. In 1991, Perry briefly reunited with Journey for a tribute concert to honor Bill Graham in San Francisco. They performed Faithfully and Lights, but Perry mostly stayed out of the public eye for the next several years. However, even after these challenges, Perry made a comeback. In 1994, Perry returned to the music scene with his second solo album, For the Love of Strange Medicine. The album was a success, and Perry even went on a world tour to promote it. Then in 1996, Journey's classic lineup from the early 1980s reunited to Record Trial by Fire. The album was a hit, debuting at number 3 on the Billboard charts and reaching platinum status by the end of the year. However, just when the band was preparing for a tour to support the album, Perry injured his hip during a hiking trip in Hawaii. But this wasn't the end of the story. The injury led to delays as Perry was reluctant to undergo surgery. Meanwhile, the rest of the band was eager to start touring. This difference of opinion created a divide within the group. Faced with an ultimatum from his bandmates to either get the surgery or step down, Perry decided to leave Journey for good. The band moved forward with a new lead singer, Steve Augury, and resumed touring nearly 2 years after the release of Trial by Fire. In December 1998, Perry released Greatest Hits Plus 5 Unreleased, which featured songs from his unfinished album Against the Wall and a demo from his early days with Alien Project. Perry also contributed to the soundtrack for the Warner Brothers movie Quest for Camelot. Although Perry had achieved incredible success, he later reflected in an interview on VH1's Behind the Music in 2001 that he never truly felt like he was part of the band, highlighting the complicated relationships and personal challenges that shaped his time with Journey. As Steve Perry's time with Journey ends, let's see how his voice stayed strong in music even after he left the band. Timeless comeback. In the year 2000, Steve Perry once again showed off his timeless voice by singing backup on 2 songs from Tommy Tokioka's album Happy to Be Living. The tracks, I Wish You Were Mine and An Angel Above Me, reminded fans that Perry's talent was still alive and well, even though he had stepped away from the spotlight for some time. 3 years later, in 2003, Perry teamed up with guitarist Jeff Golub for the song Can't Let You Go from Golub's album Soul Sessions. Perry's voice added a special touch to the mostly instrumental album, proving his ability to adapt to different styles of music. On January 21, 2005, Perry reunited with his former Journey bandmates for a special event. They were getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Even though Perry didn't sing with them, he attended the ceremony and called it a positive experience. However, he still made it clear that he wasn't planning to rejoin the band, although he left a tiny door open by joking, "Never say never unless you mean never." His comment left fans wondering if there might still be hope for a future reunion. That same year, Perry worked with musician David Pack on a song called A Brand New Start from Pack's solo album The Secret of Moving On. Not only did Perry sing on the track, but he also co-produced it. Their work together didn't stop there. Perry helped Pack redo two of his biggest hits with the band Ambrosia, Biggest Part of Me, and You're the Only Woman. This collaboration came during a creative period for Perry, partly sparked by the tragic events of September 11, 2001. In 2006, Perry's solo albums Street Talk and For the Love of Strange Medicine were remastered and re-released. These new versions included some previously unheard songs, giving fans a chance to enjoy more of his work. 3 years later, in 2009, a compilation called Playlist, The Very Best of Steve Perry, was released. This album once again celebrated Perry's impressive career as a solo artist, reminding everyone of his lasting influence, but that wasn't the biggest surprise. In 2014, Perry shocked fans by making a rare appearance at 3 concerts by the indie rock band Eels. He performed a few songs much to the delight of the audience, marking his unexpected return to the stage. 3 years later, in 2017, Perry attended the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony with Journey. While he gave a heartfelt speech, he chose not to sing, respecting the band's current lead singer, Arnel Pineda. Then came one of the most significant moments in Perry's recent career. In 2018, Steve Perry released Traces, his first solo album in more than 2 decades. This emotional album featured 10 songs that explored themes of love and loss. Fans were thrilled by Perry's return, and a deluxe version of the album was also released with 5 bonus tracks, available exclusively through Target. That same year, Perry joined in on the holiday spirit by releasing a cover of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. A year later, in 2019, he expanded his holiday music collection with a 3-song EP titled Silver Bells, but that wasn't the end of his musical journey. In 2021, Perry released his first ever full Christmas album, The Season, through Fantasy Records. This album further solidified his ongoing connection to the music world. By 2023, Perry was still making waves when he lent his voice to Dolly Parton's rock album Rockstar. He even joined her for a duet of Journey's hit Open Arms, proving that his influence and voice remain as strong as ever. Steve Perry's voice has been admired for its incredible range and emotional depth. Nicknamed The Voice by John Bon Jovi, Perry's singing has been compared to legends like Sam Cooke and Aretha Franklin. His ability to blend different musical styles and convey deep emotions through his singing has earned him praise from fellow artists, including Queen's Brian May and Randy Jackson. Perry's lasting impact on music is clear, with his name frequently appearing on lists of the greatest singers of all time, including mentions in Classic Rock Magazine and Rolling Stone. Perry's musical influences are wide-ranging. He's drawn inspiration from the Beach Boys, Marvin Gaye, and Elvis Presley, as well as from Motown and British bands of the 60s. On a more personal note, Perry's relationship with Sherry Swafford, which inspired the hit song Oh Sherry, has always fascinated fans. However, Perry has largely kept his personal life private since their relationship ended. Now, let's explore Steve Perry's personal life, where his deep relationships shape his musical legacy. Nash and Perry. In 2011, Steve Perry, the former lead singer of Journey, started a relationship with Kelly Nash, a psychologist who had fought and beaten breast cancer before. Their connection was deep, but sadly, it came with a lot of pain because Nash's cancer came back. Steve was by her side during the entire struggle, offering his support until she passed away in December 2012. In interviews, Perry has mentioned tough times in his childhood that had a lasting impact on him, though he's chosen not to share the details. While these experiences didn't involve his parents, they were strong enough to influence his music. In a 2019 interview with Dan Rather, Perry opened up about his daughter and grandchildren, though he kept the details vague, wanting to protect their privacy. This choice reflects his desire to keep much of his personal life away from the public eye. Even as a famous figure, Perry himself has had his share of health issues too. In 1998, he had a successful hip replacement surgery, and in 2013, he was diagnosed with skin cancer. Fortunately, after 2 surgeries, the doctors were able to remove all the cancer cells. Steve Perry's unexpected connection to baseball, especially with the Chicago White Sox, is an interesting part of his life. Back in 2005, the White Sox started using Journey's hit song Don't Stop Believin' as their anthem, especially during their successful run to win the World Series that year. Even though Perry has always been a fan of the San Francisco Giants, he was welcomed warmly by the White Sox organization and even celebrated with them in Houston after their big win. The moment was made even more special by the fact that his song was playing in the background. But this wasn't the only thing that made Steve Perry's life interesting. In 1980, Perry made a smart financial decision by purchasing a home in Larkspur, California for $215,000. The house has since gained a lot of value over the years, becoming a steady presence in his life as his music career experienced many ups and downs. By 2024, Perry's net worth reached $70 million. This wealth shows not only his financial success, but also the lasting influence his music has had on the world. Perry's legacy is, without a doubt, shaped by his powerful voice and emotional music that has touched many generations. His work with Journey, as well as his solo career, has produced timeless hits. Despite going through tough times both personally and professionally, his love for music has kept him relevant and ensured his legacy continues to inspire others. In 1987, Steve Perry made a surprising announcement. He was stepping away from music. The reason? He had lost the passion that once fueled him, and the joy music once brought him had faded. To cope, he began partying, but soon realized his voice was suffering and his life seemed to be falling apart. He knew he needed a break, though at the time he wasn't sure what would come next. But things didn't get better right away. After leaving music, Perry picked up a new hobby, riding a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. This was something new for him and allowed him to reconnect with his past. Riding through California's central San Joaquin Valley reminded him of his childhood, and visiting his family's graves helped him stay grounded in reality. Still, his return to music seemed far off. However, an unexpected turn of events brought him back into the world of sound. In a twist of fate, Patty Jenkins, a filmmaker, wanted to use "Don't Stop Believin'" in her movie Monster. That request led to a friendship between the two, which eventually pulled Perry back into music. He even got involved in Jenkins's Special Project 5, which focused on cancer survivors. It was while working on this project that Perry met Kelly Nash, a cancer survivor, and their connection changed his life. Their relationship was incredibly strong, filled with emotional highs and deep conversations. One significant promise Nash made Perry agree to was not to return to a life of isolation if she passed away. This request stuck with him and shaped much of his future work and his efforts to stay connected to the world around him. But this wasn't the last lesson life had for Steve Perry. Nash's passing deeply affected him, but it also taught him a lot about the strength it takes to continue on and the importance of holding on to the relationships that matter most. From his own health challenges to the love and loss he experienced with Nash, Perry's life is a journey of growth, creativity, and resilience, shaped not only by the challenges he faced, but also by the people he loved along the way. In the end, Steve Perry's story is one of survival, creativity, and the power of music. Through personal pain, health scares, and moments of triumph, his life and career have been a roller coaster, yet his music remains a constant source of comfort and inspiration to millions. Thank you for watching. What do you think? Did Kelly Nash's death impact Steve Perry positively or lead him to inevitable sadness? Like, comment, and subscribe to join the discussion.